Hello so creatives, it's Faustina here. Welcome to another interesting tutorial. On today's tutorial we are going to learn how to sew this beautiful cordless blouse that you are seeing on the screen. So we have already uploaded the drafting part of this beautiful blouse on our previous video. So if it's something that you like to learn how I join our previous cutout patterns together, you can keep watching. And if you have not watched the drafting part, you can also go ahead and watch the drafting part before you can move over to start watching the sewing part. So this is the outcome of our beautiful chantillies. So if it's something that you like to watch, please keep watch and let's move over to our sewing table. So these are all the patterns that we have drafted out in our previous video, and this is the satin that we are working with, and this is the cordless that we are also working with. So we now move over to transfer all our patterns to our satin. So I've gone ahead to transfer the patterns to our satin, and I went ahead to cut it at 2-2 because one will serve as lining while the other one will serve as our main fabric. So I went ahead to cut it out in 2-2 pairs. So 2-2 pairs, so that one can serve as lining while the other one can serve as our main fabric. And I went ahead to also iron hairstay on our main fabric, while on the lining I did not iron any hairstay. So this eyelet space, I went ahead to cut it on fold. The side that we carry the eyelet, I went ahead to cut it on fold, while the side that I'm using to attach to our other back, so that our back will be complete, I added half inches all over. So this is our other back, I added half inches all over, while this is our bust side. On our center front of our bust side, it was cut on fold, while the other side I added half inches all over. On the side I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance, while on the hemming side I did not add any allowance because we are going to also alter this blouse to get that scallop effect that it has on the front part. So we are going to use this satin to go and cut our cordless. So this is our cordless. We are going to use the already cut out satin. We are going to use it and transfer and cut out our cordless before we now start laminating our beautiful blouse. So firstly, we are going to cut out the neck of our beautiful neck. So I want to show you how to place the neck so that you can get that scallop effect that the neck has. So on that slanted area, you are going to place it on the scallop down part of your cordless, so that slanted part will have that scallop effect. So you can see how I'm trying to place that slanted part on the scallop effect of our lace. So this is how you go about it. You place that slanted part directly on the scallop part, and you go ahead to add half inches sewing allowance on the down part, on the armhole part, and on the shoulder part. So you are going to cut it by 2. So I cut it into 2 pairs so that my yoke can have a weight. So after cutting the bigger part, you can also go ahead and cut out this small part the same way we cut out the slanted part. So this is also, you are going to also cut it the same way you cut out the slanted part. The slanted part will lay flat on the scallop side, while you go ahead and add half inches on the shoulder, on the armhole, and on the down part. The down part's half inches is to join it to our main blouse. So I went ahead to cut it out, and this is the outcome of it. If you now lay it and join it together with the slanted part, this is what you are going to have. So this is how your front yoke should look like. So after cutting your yoke, so you have already gone ahead to cut out our cordless with our satin. So we now start laminating it with this our UHU gum. So you can laminate it with any gum of your choice. either B6000 or E6000, but on this video we are making use of UHU gum. I don't like laminating with hairstay because it leave whitish like effect on the cordless, so I prefer laminating with my UHU gum. So I'm basically going to open up our satin and also open up our cordless and lay it flat on our satin. After laying it flat on the satin and getting the exact shape that you want, you will start opening it small small by the side and start infusing your gum on it like so. So make sure you lay it very flat so that it will be very accurate, like the cordless and the satin will be matching very well. After which you are going to start flipping it small small and applying your gum on the side of the cordless. So after applying your gum, you can leave it like 2 minutes to gum small before you now use your cordless to cover it and now use your hand to beat it down like so. So this is how you laminate it. It's very simple. You use your hand and beat it down. So I'm going to use this method to laminate others off camera. So you can see that the cordless and the satin is now one material. So this is how you go about it. So I'm basically going to laminate the rest of them off camera and I will come and show you the outcome of it. So I've gone ahead to laminate others. So these are the laminated ones. You see how beautiful they are all looking. So they are looking so beautiful. These are the tutu back of our beautiful blouse, while the rest of them are for the front part. So this is the center of our front, while the tutu side is the bustier side. So we now go ahead and start joining them together. But before we join them together, we are going to cut out our wording that we are going to use for the cup side. So this wording is a medium weight wording. So we are going to basically cut out our bust shape using this wording. So this is how you go about cutting the bust shape using the wording. So for the center, you're going to close it into two, like close it back to the original pattern that we cut out, and you're going to mark out the underbust of your center front. So you're going to mark out the underbust. Either you mark it out or you notch it so that you know what you are cutting. While the side, you are also going to mark out the underbust. So we are going to now open up our wording and close it into two, and we are going to place the center front on top of it. Remember that the center front is folded. So we are going to now trace out our bust side, and we are going to now stop cutting on the underbust. You can see how I mark out our underbust, so I'm just going to cut it out. On the side, we are also going to do the same thing, but the different thing is that this wording will not enter our armhole area. So from this our armhole, we are going to come in by 1 inch and now trace the cup side and stop at the underbust. When we stop at the underbust, we are going to raise it up and now trace it back to that 1 inch that we came in from the armhole side. So it's not good for your wording to enter your armhole. It will not make your sleeve to relax. So you have to minus 1 to 1.5 inches from your armhole area before you now trace it out like so. So after tracing it, you can go ahead and cut it. So after cutting it, I went ahead to fuse it to our blouse using our pin. I like working with pin. I don't like ironing it on our blouse, so I like working with pin. So I went ahead to hold it down with our pin. On the upper part, we are going to cut out 0.5 inches from the upper part because this wording will not enter our yoke also. It's not good to enter your yoke also. If it enters your yoke, it will make your yoke not to relax. So we are going to cut out 0.5 inches on that upper part so that we can have space to fuse our yoke. So after cutting out 0.5 inches on the upper part, we are now going to use our pin and pin it down very well. we now proceed and start joining them from the down side all the way to the up side. You can go ahead and first pin it down like I'm doing. Always work with your pin. Working with pin makes sewing very easy. So I went ahead to pin it down. I will pin it from the down all the way to the upper part. You can see that they are matching on the under bust. So you pin it down, and after pinning it down, we will now move ahead to our sewing machine to go and sew it. So I'm trying to pin it down. After pinning this side, I also proceed and also pin the other side. You can see that they are also matching on the upper side. It's because of that contouring that we did during the drafting process. So I also go ahead and pin the other side and go and sew it and come and show you the outcome. So I've gone ahead to sew it. So this is the outcome. You see how busty this our cup side is looking. It's looking so deep and busty. So I went ahead to also iron press the same area. You can see how beautiful it's looking. So after now, we now start introduce our yoke. We now start sewing our yoke on our main blouse. So I'm trying to unpin the pattern on that yoke. So after unpinning the pattern, I'm now going to place that slanted part starting from the armhole area. I'm going to start from the armhole area. I'm going to pin it down with my office pin. Starting from the armhole area, I'm going to pin it down to where the slanted part stop. After pinning it down, I'm also going to pin this other small one down, starting from the other side of the armhole too. You can see how I'm trying to place it. Starting from the other side of the armhole, I'm also going to pin it down with my pin. So this is how you go about it. So after pinning it down with your pin, you're going to now introduce our lining parts, which is our satin. I also went ahead to sew the bust part. So I'm going to introduce our lining part. I'm going to place it on top of our blouse and now sew half an inch on that yoke side, half an inch on the armhole area, 0.25 on the side. So I'm going to sew half an inch on the yoke side, half an inch on the armhole area, 0.25 on the side. So I've gone ahead to sew it. So this is the outcome. You see how beautiful our blouse is looking. You see how relaxed the yoke is also looking. It's because the wording did not enter that yoke area. So you see how busty the cup is also looking. So this is the wrong side of our blouse. You see how beautiful and neat is also looking. So after working with the front, we now proceed in working with the back. This is the back yoke. We are going to place it the right side facing each other. We are going to sew half an inch on our sewing machine. So I have gone ahead to sew half an inch and turn the back yoke up and down. So I now start infusing it on our back blouse. So starting from the armhole area too, we are going to pin it down on the tutu part and also introduce our lining like we did to the front. And we are going to sew that yoke side by half an inch, the armhole side by half an inch, while on the side by half an inch. So this our eyelet space. After sewing the yoke, we are going to now sew the eyelet space on this center back of our beautiful blouse. So this is the outcome of the sewing. You see how neat and beautiful our back is looking. So on this eyelet space, we are now going to introduce our eyelet space. So I've gone ahead to sew half an inch on the upper side of the eyelet space. So this is how the eyelet space will look. So I'm now going to start sewing from the back side of our beautiful blouse. I'm going to now place the eyelet space on the back side of the blouse, and I'm going to sew half an inch all the way to the hem of our blouse. So I quickly move over to my sewing machine to go and sew it and come and show you. So I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see how the back is looking, very neat. So while on this rough area, which is on the front side, we are now going to tuck it in like so, and now fold, hem this other side by 1/2 inch, and now top stitch it on the line that we have already run. So you are going to now top stitch it on the right side while folding in all the rough area inside, and you are going to fold this by 1/2 inch and top stitch it on the right side using that line that I have already run on the back side. So I'm quickly going to move over to my sewing machine to go and top stitch it on the front, while also run my boning channel on that folded part. So I've gone ahead to top stitch it. You can see how beautiful it's looking. I also run my boning channel on the folded part. So I'm going to basically insert my plastic boning on that folded side to form my eyelet space. So we now start joining our blouse from the shoulder. So I'm going to place the two shoulder, the front and the back shoulder together. I'm going to flip the one back of our yoke to the front. I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. You can see what I did. Both the two front and back yoke, I'm going to hold them together. Use one of the back to flip to the front and now pin it down. So I'm basically going to sew 1/2 inch. This method will make your yoke to look good. Both the front and the back will be so neat and fine. So this is the outcome. The front and the back is so neat and fine. While on the side, I went ahead to now hold our side by 1.5 inches sewing allowance that we left earlier. So we now start working on that scallop side. So I went ahead to open up all my patterns. So on the side, I came up by 4 inches, and I run a straight line all the way to the back of our blouse, on the center back of our blouse. I also do the same at the other side of our beautiful blouse. While on the center front of our blouse, I came up by 2 inches, and I went ahead to now draw the scallop effect. You can see how I'm trying to get that scallop effect. So this design is as preferred. You can go ahead and design the hem part of your blouse anyhow you like it. So this is it. After cutting it, this is what we have. I will now go ahead and start inserting our plastic boning on the boning channel that we created earlier. So we are going to insert it, and we are going to make the bone to be 1/2 inches below the hemming side of our blouse, because we are going to use our bias to turn this hem mat of our beautiful blouse. You can see I'm trying to cut out the boning so that it will not enter this side that we are going to sew with our bias. So we are going to use our bias to turn this hemming, this scallop area. So if you have extra satin, you can also make use of your satin and cut it in bias form. So this is the bias that we are working with. So I also went ahead to add sleeve on our beautiful cordless blouse. So this is the bias. I'm trying to unpin it. If you know bias very well, you know that bias have two lines, close up two lines. So I will now start from the wrong side of our beautiful blouse, which is the back side. I open up one line of the bias and will now sew all the way on the wrong side of our beautiful blouse. So I've gone ahead to sew it. So this is it. I will now trim it off. I will now, after trimming it off, I will now start flipping the bias to the right side of our beautiful blouse. So I start flipping it to the right side of, I will now run a stitch on it. So I quickly move over to my sewing machine and go and sew it and come and show you. So I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see both the wrong side and the right side is looking so beautiful and fine. I also went ahead to add our eyelet on our beautiful blouse. So this is the end of this tutorial. If you have watched to this point, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also comment so that our tutorial will be going on. Bye.